There's reportedly a new head hog in town as Alex Golesh is reportedly the next head coach of the Arkansas Razorbacks. We are here reacting to the news. Is it a good fit? Is it not a good fit? What does it mean for Arkansas moving forward? Hello, everyone. As always, I'm Chris Phillips. He's Cole Thompson. We appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in. As always, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube. We are inching ever so close to that 30,000 subscriber mark. We cannot do it without your love and support. Also, make sure you check out our friends over at FanDuel because, as always, we are brought to you by our friends at FanDuel, FanDuel.com/SECU to get started with $250 in bonus bets when you win your first $5 bet. Once again, that's FanDuel.com/SECU to get in on the action today. The report surfaced Wednesday morning. The Arkansas coaching search has been one of the most interesting in the country, but maybe, just maybe, it has come to a resolution as Alex Golesh reportedly will be the next head coach of the Arkansas Razorbacks. We are here reacting to the news, giving our thoughts. Is it a good fit for Arkansas? What does it mean for the Hogs? And does it spell the turnaround the Razorbacks are looking for? As always, guys, I'm Chris Phillips. Joining me and helping me break it all down, my co-host, colleague, partner in crime, one of the best in the business, Mr. Cole Thompson. Bear, what's going on, man? Appreciate you taking the time. Really excited to talk Alex Golesh. Reportedly, nothing official yet from Arkansas, but all the different Arkansas sites, reporters, those in the know down there, it does sound like Golesh will be the next head coach. Excited to discuss it with you, my friend.
There'll be a negative connotation from some people out there, but overall, after the Eric Morris news broke on Tuesday about him going to Oklahoma State, it felt like that you were going the offensive approach. There's very few guys that I think that you can look at and say there is an identity that we could harness here that may end up being a reason why this can turn around. Now, again, you got to get a lot of buy-in from Hunter Yurachek. He's making a fool of himself with 6-7 jokes in the College Football Playoff Committee. But if there's enough buy-in from the fan base and the boosters, and you start to see winning results, this may be the move that ends up getting Arkansas back to a national prominence. Now, nothing is guaranteed. We know what this job usually entails. I have no idea if it's going to work out. But from the standing point of does it fit, there's a lot of things to like about Golesh leaving South Florida to head on over to Fayetteville.
Yeah, Bear, a lot to get into. I will say the Hunter Yurachek thing, that truly was, I felt like we're living in a simulation with the 6-7. I was like, nothing is serious anymore. Either way, I do want to start with this. I'll credit Hunter Yurachek. I was critical of him earlier in the week. Just some things that you and I had both heard behind the scenes about this coaching search and kind of the madness and some of the missteps, I think, if you will, some of the shortcomings and the way that they had handled it. You know, it felt like Hunter Yurachek was kind of dropping the bag or fumbling the bag, if you will, or those behind the scenes just were not doing a good job when it comes to this search. But landing on Alex Golesh, a very interesting hire, no doubt. Most notably, of course, fans are going to know him from his time at Tennessee, where he helped guide one of the most electric offenses in all of college football. Obviously, since 2023, has been the head coach at South Florida. A 22-15 overall record with the Bulls, including 3 straight bowl games and 3 straight seasons of at least 500 or better in conference play. And you mentioned it, Bear. My initial reaction, some of the names that were floating around, I think this is probably the best of the bunch, at least one of the best when it comes to the fit for Arkansas. And you think about the great Hog teams. As important, obviously, as defense is in this league, I like the mindset and the mentality better of going out and getting an offensive-minded head coach and hiring a great DC. Now, the trouble with that or the challenge with that, do you have a guy who has enough humility to hire an offensive coordinator, let him call plays, or at least be part of the play calling? We've all seen the statistic of how few coaches have made it to the national championship or made it to an elite level status where they're calling their own plays. You can ask folks in the city of Austin, Texas about that right now, how they feel about it. But Alex Golesh, still, the job he's done at South Florida, the job he did at Tennessee. I mean, heck, you look throughout his coaching career, he's been at Ohio State, Northern Illinois, Oklahoma State, Toledo, Illinois, Iowa State, UCF. He's really climbed the ranks, obviously learned under a Josh Heupel, and we know what Heupel has done on the offensive side and his prowess. Heck, there's some Tennessee fans that think the offense was better or fell off when Golesh left, and it was better when he was there. So I think you bring in a great offensive mind, a guy who's going to bring some much-needed energy to the program. I think a lot of does he have success in Fayetteville is going to come – it's not going to all be controlled by him. You and I have talked before. I think Arkansas needs to make that commitment to winning and invest in the staff and invest in the football team. But Yeah, as far as a coach is concerned, Bear, I think this was a really, really good hire. Again, going to bring some much needed energy to the program, and offensively, he's going to provide that jolt and that spark that you know as well as I do. You got to play defense, but you got to score in 2025 and beyond to win football games.
You can't really ask for much more from what Alex Golesh did this past year. I mean, let's just start off with this. Unless somehow, some way, Missouri ends up losing to Arkansas, Alex Golesh and USF have more SEC wins than the program he's going to this year. I mean, like, that's just a bottom line fact because you beat Florida. On top of that, it was one of the most dynamic offenses in college football. I think the word would be balanced. Top 5 in scoring, top 10 in total offense, averaging 497 yards per game, top 20 in passing, top 12 in rushing, 221 yards. They were great on third down execution. Red zone efficiency was through the roof. There's a way and there's an identity that really did work down in South Florida and Tampa Bay to make the transition to where you feel this could come make a big impact in the SEC. But what I really like is that there's no one right way approach to go about things that you think could easily transpire in Fayetteville. And Alex Golesh did a good job of taking the offense that was orchestrated underneath Josh Heupel and kind of looking at it from a 360 lens and go, this is what I really liked. This is what I don't like. I'm going to switch it up and make it my own personnel with just the foundation, like the bones and the structure. And I'm going to create my own innovative way of being successful. I mean, Josh Heupel's offense for years has always been known as a ground and pound attack that lets the vertical passing attack work in its favor because of you trust the rushing game. There's a lot more, I think, balance when it comes to this, but still the identity is based off of running the football and having mobility at the quarterback position. I mean, let's just call a spade a spade. If we were looking at this offense this year with some of the weapons that you had, whether it be Omega Blake at wide receiver or what you got Braylon Russell at running back, or better yet, Taylor Green at quarterback, mobile guy that's able to make plays with his legs. And we take the identity of what we saw for South Florida. Is this not a bowl eligible team? I think is the best storyline. Now, defensively, again, you got to make a lot of adjustments. You need to make a hire. I don't think Todd Orlando is a guy that you want to bring with you from Tampa on over to Fayetteville. But from the offensive standpoint, it's very hard to argue that this was not the right move after missing out on Eric Morris. Eric Morris's offense was number 1 in the country in total yards per game and in scoring. Number 2 right behind it was USF. So you're really getting a pretty solid consolation prize. It's like, you really want a Milky Way. You'll take a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup, but that's what you have laying around in the bargain bin.
I just want to echo yet again, because I do think this is going to be and the rebuilds are quicker now in college football because of the portal and the way you can flip a roster. But I think it's probably going to take him at least a year or two to really get this thing rolling and get the guys he needs in there to compete at a high level. And, I do think it's hard to project, right? Can Alex Golesh get Arkansas to a college football playoff? I think he can get them back to a level of respectability, no doubt. I think he can get them back to winning 7-8 games a year. But I can't emphasize it enough. It's going to take more than just him. Like, I think Arkansas has got to rally around him. They've got to invest in him. And I think if they do that, I mean, again, look what he's done at South Florida. I know Florida was a mess this year, but he went into the swamp and beat the Gators. You make a great point, Bear. More SEC wins for South Florida than Arkansas in 2025. I mean, that's saying a lot. So if you make the investment in him, allow him to hire the staff that he needs. Obviously, every great head coach, they're only as good as the staff around him and the people around him. So I think if they allow him to do that, I think it could turn out to be a home run hire. And like I said, will they make the college football playoff? There's so many variables and different things that have to go right. But I think he can at minimum get Arkansas back to a place where we're not talking about the Hawgs in that bottom tier of the conference. I think they can be a really solid middle of the pack program when you have an exciting offense like that. I think if you can go out and get a good DC, I think it could be a very fruitful hire for
right now. You can't be acting like in 2 or 3 years, if we're not in the college football playoff, we're going to have to just hit reset. I think that's unjust to a guy who is taking a chance on a really good program that he could build to be a great G5 team and saying, I want to go trust the SEC and I want to figure this out. I think that would be malpractice of you. And you also have to remind yourself, he is going to bring in some transfer portal players that probably are not meant to win in the SEC on a consistent basis. But that will be the foundation of what you want in terms of targets that you believe can expand and really elevate the status of Arkansas football. Got to be on the same page with the athletic staff. You got to be on the same page with the general manager. You got to be willing to spend if you are Hunter Yurachek and you're the boosters. You can't go in with an identity and say, well, we're bringing in a guy who has averaged a top 5 scoring offense. Yeah, but part of the reason why he averaged a top 5 scoring offense while out in South Florida was because of they spent the right money and resources to bring in players that would fit the system. When you're at a place like South Florida and you're trying to hit reset for your career, it's a lot different than having an opportunity to be offered an Ole Miss position or offered a spot on South Carolina's roster or offered a spot on Tennessee's roster. So you're going to have to win some of those recruiting battles. The only way you can is with funds. If they're willing to spend a little bit more money in football, I think you have a coach that offensively can get you to the mountaintop of being in the running for every 4 or 5 years, college football playoff bid, definitely a top 25 ranking, holding your own against quality opponents. And remember, you're going to be facing off against against Oklahoma. You're going to be facing off against LSU. You're going to be facing off against Missouri every single year. These are games that you want to say it's at least going to be a toss-up, not we're just going to lay down dormant and die. And right now, it feels that way at Arkansas. A guy like Alex Golesh can do enough offensively to put you in a position where it does feel like it's trending upward. And more specifically, there's room for growth. And if he does believe that this is a great job, the beauty of it all, you start spending money, you start showing a winning formula there, he may be very locked into staying in Fayetteville for the long term. This may not be a destination job for him.
Byron Brown doesn't have another year, does he?
I actually don't know off the top of my head.
If he does, I would love to bring him to Fayetteville with me. I don't know what that kid's future has in store, but that's a hell of a ball player. So.
Well, they got Jeremiah Kroger, who was a phenomenal receiver this past year for USF. I can already tell you that kid is going to be easily looking great in that hog red. Keyshawn Singleton's another name, 6'3". He's a junior. If he does not go to the NFL draft, brother, I'll tell you what, you want to gain a lot of notion, go play and do what you're doing currently down in at Raymond James Stadium inside of Donald Razorback Stadium. You do it there. There's some good things to have there. There are some pieces that you look at on this team that very much could eventually carve out a pretty decent role with this organization next year in Fayetteville if he is to take the job full on.
Guys, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Alex Golesh, reportedly the next head coach for the Arkansas Razorbacks. Right move, wrong move. What are your thoughts? Is it a home run for Arkansas? What does it mean for the future of the program? We'd love to hear from you. Guys, that being said, that's going to do it all for us. We appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in before we get out of here. Do want to tell you about our friends over at FanDuel, because as always, we are brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. Guys, it's NBA tip-off week. FanDuel's your home for live betting. Even if you missed the start of the game or you want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel's got live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. However you want to play, now is the perfect time to join because FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Just visit FanDuel.com/SECU to sign up today. That's FanDuel.com/SECU. Play your game with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. Guys, once again, we're out of here. Appreciate you all tuning in. Make sure, as always, you hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube. Check us out where we get your podcasts all across your favorite social media platforms, as well as our website, secunfiltered.com. For Cole the Bear Thompson, I'm Chris Phillips. We're signing off. Y'all have a great rest of your day, and we'll talk to you all on the other side.